then move to the next set of minutes. Arukhai, you are not audible. Can you repeat?
I was indicating, Honorable Chair, that Honorable Matebula is saying that she can't hear anything. She has written on the chat.
Oh, okay.
The problem is sound. So I was asking if the ICT can attend to that.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you, Honorable High. I hope the ITC people will assist. Kindly attend to that so that at least Honorable Matebula can be able to.
Yeah, no, the ICT person is here in the meeting. Darius.
Thank you. We'll then move to the next set of minutes of the 13th of May. Is it the 13th of May?
Yes, Chair. I think the minutes that was just adopted was the minutes of the. Sorry, if I can just get here quickly. I think it was the 6th of May.
Yes. 6th of May.
Yeah,
yes.
6th of May.
Yeah. Thanks. Let's then move to the next set of minutes, which is the 13th of May. It was the presentation by the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure and Property Management Trading Entity on its 5-year strategic plan and annual performance plan. Those were the attendees. Let's move to the second page. One of the things that is clearly emerging from this is the emphasis by honorable members on the coordination from the Minister's Office. Yes. Next page. Those are the observations. Thank you, Maria. Honorable members, those are the minutes of the 13th of May. Yes,
Chair, if I may, before we pass these minutes,
yes.
Chair, you will remember on the 13th of May that I requested information about prestige projects.
Yes.
Advocate, I just want to note this for our proceedings today. I asked Advocate Vukela for details about prestige projects, and he promised, and in fact, Chair, I remember that you, if we go back to the recording, you confirmed that promise, that he would report the very next day on those details. That was never given to our committee, never. We never received that information. And then, Chair, I submitted a parliamentary question, a written question for written reply, which I received yesterday. And I just think we need to note today that we gave an instruction to that department to give us written responses to various queries. Until today, they've not responded in the manner in which we requested. And I believe that we should sanction them in some time and point out that when this committee asks for something in writing, we're not playing games. We want it when we say we need to get it. And I think we need to just show our teeth a little bit and flex our muscle and make it clear to this department that when they promise to give us something in a specified period of time, they must produce. They're not just that they walk out and laugh at us and walk away. If that can just be minuted somehow today, that out of today's proceedings, I'm not saying we must change these minutes, but out of today's proceedings, that's something that is glaringly obvious. And I could only get it out of a parliamentary question, the information I wanted. And that's not on, Chair. That's not correct.
Let's then adopt the minutes, and then we note that as a matters arising point. Yes.
Okay, I think we still need to move those. We still need to move those minutes. I'll propose the minutes for the 13th of May.
Thank you, Tim.
I'll second the Honorable Chairperson, but I would also request again, Honorable Landsman is sending me a WhatsApp message. He's struggling to connect. If ICT can also attend to that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Khai. ICT, can you help Honorable Landsman? For the last 20 minutes, he has been struggling. Then let us then note the point raised by Honorable Tim Ratcheseth on the information that we requested on the Prestige project. The committee secretary is impressed upon to interact with the department just to make sure that that information that was requested is provided henceforth. Thank you.
Sorry, Chair.
Yes.
Sorry, Chair. It's also, I just want to make it clear, it's not only about that information. I'm just saying, going forward, generally with this department, we need to make it clear when we interact with them that when we say, when Chair Muyimang says, I want stuff by the end of business tomorrow, Chair Muyimang is not playing. You know, he's being serious. He wants that information. We need to make it clear to these departments that when we say we want something, they must provide it and not play games with us. And almost a month later, Chair, we're still waiting for that information via the proper channel. I'm just saying generally, this is just a point for our committee to show our strength and say, hey, we want information.
We must be taken seriously.
It's a general point, Chair. It's a general point. I've received the information. The committee should still receive it. But generally, we must not be pushed around by the...
We need to impress upon them. So
yeah, that's just a general point I'm making, yeah.
To respond when we take resolution of the committee meeting. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for emphasizing the point, Honorable Professor. Let's then move to the minutes of the 20th of May, which was again the briefing by the Department of Public Service Administration on its APP, and also the strat plan of the National School of Government on its APP and its strat plan. Those are the attendees. This was a meeting of the select committee. It was not a joint one. These are the apologies. And then those are the issues that were presented and engaged by the members. Thank you. Can we get a mover for the adoption of the minutes as a true reflection of what transpired on the 20th of May? Can we get a mover for the minutes?
Tim Brad is here to move.
Thank you, Tim. Can we get a seconder?
Sonia Boshoff to second.
Thank you, Honorable Boshoff, for seconding the minutes as proposed. This is the minutes of the select committee on trade. Do we deal with it now, or do we deal with it after the adoption of the reports?
Oh, so sorry, Chi. I pressed the wrong. I pressed the wrong set of minutes here. What's going on here? Sorry, Roger.
The last part of the public works, yes.
Yeah.
The 3rd of June, yes. Let's deal with the first page, which is a reflection on the attendees. Again, it was a meeting of the select committee, not a joint one. Let's go to the second page. Those were the issues that were raised.
Chairperson.
Can you just go up?
Chairperson.
Yes.
I will request Madi. I think she jumped our meeting on the 28th of May.
Oh, sorry, let me just.
28th, before the 3rd of June, there's a meeting on the 28th of May.
Okay.
Sorry, can I just get to that? Hold on 1 second. 28th of May. Here we go.
Okay. The 28th of May, yes.
Why is this? It keeps going back to the 28th of April. Sorry.
20th of May, okay.
Sorry, it just keeps, for some reason, it keeps going back to
Okay, no, Chairperson, it's fine. We can do the 3rd of June. I will forward it the 20th of May. We'll do that one last.
Now let's deal with the 3rd of June one, which is the presentation on the APP and strat plan of PRAZA. Those were the attendees. Again, it was not a joint meeting. Let's go to the next page. That's the minister's input. And then the presentation by the administrator, and the comments and deliberation by members. Thank you, Nadia. Can we get a mover for the adoption of the minutes of the 3rd of June? Presentation on the strat plan and the APP of PRAZA. Can we get a mover?
I move the Honorable Chair. Hi.
Thank you, Honorable Khai. Can we get a seconder?
Honorable Bradeset will second.
Thank you, Honorable Tim. The minutes is hereby duly adopted. Let's then move to the minutes of the 28th of May. The 8th of May. That was the briefing by the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure on Agri-SA and the IDT. Those were the attendees. It was a joint meeting, this one. The attendees. Those were the attendees. Effectively, here we got a presentation on Agri-SA, and then with the IDT, it was a different. Those were the deliberation by honorable members. Those were the observation and the resolutions. Honorable members can note that resolution number 1, agenda to consider whether this suggested exit strategy is the best solution for a department that should drive social development. Can we then get a mover for the adoption of the minutes?
Chair, sorry, before we adopt the minutes, I remember a very, very clear frustration in this particular engagement about the fact that the news had hit the media that the RDT was going to be closed and that the committees were not informed of it at all. So we found out through the media. That doesn't seem to be reflected here in the observations. I don't know if that can be added, but I certainly remember that being a major theme in our conversations, was a dissatisfaction by both committees. I believe this was a joint meeting by both committees about the minister's declaration of the closing of RDT, but that the committees were not consulted.
Yes, you are correct, Tim. Let's just add that bullet point on the observation. As to how it leaked, it's a matter for the department. But I think what is also critical with that additional point is it's a matter arising from when the department presented its strat plan. This matter of the exit strategy was not raised, and when we raised questions around why there is no budget allocation for IDT, we were informed that it is able to sustain itself. You see. So it's a matter that it's a matter that I believe obviously as a matters arising point we need to have a reflection on. Let's then get a view for the adoption of the minutes.
Can we just go back to that point that Madia was typing there kindly? I just think it should read, satisfied that the information relating to the closure, to the proposed closure of RDT was disclosed. Yeah, proposed closure. I think that would be more, yeah. Thank you.
Yes, okay.
So didn't just say propose the exit
strategy?
Yeah.
Members were not satisfied that the information relating to the exit strategy, yes. Okay. Exit strategy of IDT was disclosed in the media before members were duly informed, yes. Because that is what was presented to us, and therefore, on record, they talked about the exit strategy. Can we then, with the amendment, then get a mover?
Sorry, Chair, I just want to be accurate here. I believe it's the department's, because Parliament plays an oversight role, it's the duty of the department to consult Parliament and not just to inform us. And I think that was one of the major issues as well, I believe. So can we change that last word, we're duly consulted?
Let's adopt
not
the
informed.
minute.
I don't know how we feel about that.
Yeah, let's adopt the minute and then we take a resolution on that. It's a matters arising point.
Okay, I'm happy with what Madia has done there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's get with the amendment as crafted. Can we then get a mover?
I'll move. Honourable Browder said to move.
Thank you, Honourable Tim. Can we get a seconder? Can we get a seconder, Honourable Bosho?
In the absence of anybody else, I will second. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, just on another matter related to this exit strategy, I was just see that in the Z list, the portfolio committee is again getting a briefing on the exit strategy of IDT. Perhaps I don't know if it is not late at this stage, if that meeting could be a joint meeting, or maybe at a later stage you consider also inviting the department to brief the SELECO on the same issue.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. But the meeting for the PC is scheduled for the 17th.
17th.
Next week on the 17th.
Right. Yeah, we'll attempt to engage the office of the House Chair. But I must express a view that say there's always reluctance on the part of the House Chair, informed by the fact that what is endorsed from his office must have gone through the programming committee. So we will, of course, bounce the idea with him. But I think what is also critical from us is the reflection of that letter. Because the first question that one would want to ask is, for this year, how will the IDT disperse its expenses without having presented the APP and the strat plan? Because the IDT did present the APP and the strat plan to the department, but because of the department's angle from which it is coming from, it then decided not to table the strat plan and the APP of the IDT to Parliament. As a result thereof, it becomes difficult for us to hold them to account, because ordinarily what one would have expected was for them to include the exit strategy as part of their APP or as part of their strat plan. That was the thinking that I had, because I would have preferred us to have had a resolution on that letter that the minister had written to the speaker and the House chair. But we couldn't deal with that at the last meeting. I just wanted to check from honorable member what is their take on the content of that letter, because the letter says the IDT in the strat plan will be presented late. If honorable members can still remember. Any take by honorable members on that?
Actually, I was not part of the meeting, Chair.
Yes, yeah, I remember. Because my take was that committee, we need to hold the department to account for its decision, and for them to put us in a much more position, they must be able to table that strat plan and the APP, and as part and parcel of their work, then they must then include the exit strategy in their APP. You see, so that we are then able to hold them to account in terms of the exit strategy. Because as it is of now, the exit strategy is in a vacuum. It has no annual performance. It's not located within its APP or within its strat plan.
Chair, if I may give a take on that.
Yes.
I fully agree, Chair, that there is a massive lack of detail. I think that page was a page and a half long. It's a massive lack of detail on that IDT exit strategy, and it's far too vague. It doesn't, as you say, it doesn't have a home anywhere in the APP. I certainly believe that we need a whole set of extra documents and extra engagements on that, and I think that was precisely the point that the Joint Committee was raising, is that this level of detail was not presented to either committee or to both committees. And it has the IDT, although we understand that it effectively is a non-functioning, it's not a going concern, as it should be, it has an impact on a lot of people when it does close. And so there certainly needs to be a heck of a lot more engagement on it. So I fully agree with you on that. And I believe that was the spirit of the conversation. So something else needs to be scheduled.
Yes, can we agree that then that the chair will engage the minister on that? But definitely let's also try then to have to see whether we can get a slot to join the meeting of the portfolio committee on the 17th. If we cannot succeed, then we'll then definitely have an invite extended to the minister to come and brief the select committee in terms of that. But also just to also assess progress with regard to what is contained in the letter, where the minister indicated that the APP and the strat plan will be tabled late, because that was one of the points that was raised in the letter. Can we then move to the next set of minutes? Yes, Honorable.
Chair. Now, I was going. If Chair, you're not successful with regard to engaging with the House Chairperson, that the meeting should be a joint meeting. Then what I would suggest that perhaps you do is to talk to the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee. Just indicate to her that as members of the Select Committee, will be joining the meeting, but not as a joint meeting, but just as members who have a right to join any meeting in any case. But it will be presided by the Chairperson of the BC because it is not a joint meeting. So we can still attend and therefore request that we be provided with the documentation in preparation for the meeting. So as Plan B. So that's what I wanted to suggest. But then the other one is the one that you're proposing, that if we're still not successful with the first one, then we invited the minister to come and brief the Select Committee. But the chances of that also happening before the Parliament rises, it's next to nil. So that's why I was going to, if we don't succeed with the first option, we consider the second option of joining as MPs, not as a joint committee meeting. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Chair, for that concrete suggestion. Members, I believe that we are all at one on that. That will be the second option. We are going to approach the committee secretary. Try to check with the office of the House Chair, and then if we don't succeed with that, we will then join as members. If members are comfortable, can we then move to the next point? Tim?
Chair, yeah, I just, so are we now to the reports?
No, we just want to concretize this point to say that we are going to approach the office of the House Chair to allow us to join the meeting of the Portfolio Committee.
I do agree, Chair. It would just be unfortunate if we cannot contribute to the meeting. I believe that although I accept Honourable Khai's recommendation as at least the second prize, the first prize is that we can actually engage. And if we're unable to engage because we are simply observers, that would be second prize. But at least we could observe the process. But I certainly think we should push very hard for our own engagement on RDT, at least or joint.
Sorry, Honourable Tim. I just want to clarify, Honourable Tim. We can engage as MPs, but what we cannot do is to move and second whatever decision that is taken. But we can engage. Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks, honourable members. Can we then move to the next set of engagement? It will be the budget report.
Sorry, Chair.
Yes.
If I may, before we do that, Chair, I just want to, Chair, you know, often political parties are accused of playing politics, and
yes.
that is not my tactic. Neither it is of my colleagues. But I just want to point out for the committee today, and I really would like this minuted, that if it wasn't for the DA's presence in the meeting this morning, we would not have been able to pass any of those minutes. And I think, Chair, I think it's only fair that we, and I'm not playing politics, because I can assure you if I was playing politics, I would have WhatsApped my colleagues and said, let's all leave the meeting. Okay? But I advise my colleagues that it would be churlish to do so. But at the same time, Chair, it must be noted that these meetings are called for a reason. We're all paid parliamentarians. There is a lot of criticism out there that while businesses are suffering, we still receive our salaries, and we need to take our job seriously, Chair. And for members not to be present in the meeting is not acceptable. And I just think that, with the exception of the two chairs, yourself and Honourable Khai, We are here to do our work, and I'm not trying to make a political point. I'm trying to make a housekeeping point amongst us as colleagues and friends that we really need to take our job seriously, and we need to attend all meetings because this is our serious job that we are elected to do. And effectively, if it wasn't for the presence of one of the parties this morning, my party, we would not have been able to do our work. We decided to still engage and get the work done, but I think that a note needs to be made that the other members must also take these engagements seriously, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Chair. I think we note the and we applaud. I think the manner within which we have always worked in both committees. I think we have worked beyond our cocoon of political parties, and which is quite appreciated. And the fact that we are always there, of course, noting the fact that Honourable Langsman, for the last 23 minutes, he has been struggling to connect. There's something that is always not working, particularly with his connectivity. And I've seen even his messages. It's just that I couldn't give it attention because I'm chairing. But I think let's appreciate the good work that is displayed by the presence of honourable members. That is highly appreciated. And let's continue doing the good work for the interest of our country, because the principles around multi-party democracy is informed by the fact that the work that we are doing, we are laying the foundation for the future of our kids, but also for the better of our continent, for the better of the good world. Keep it up, honourable team. That sterling work is appreciated. But I think also the like as I indicated, the way in which we are operating as a committee has always instilled confidence and trust to the extent that I don't remember at any other stage there is an antagonism based on our party political affiliation, and that must be commended to all of you. Thank you, honourable members.
Sorry, Chair, it's just before we move to the budget reports, Chair, just one other item. It's just a small housekeeping thing. I've noted in the chat that Honourable Matavula, who I know has problems connecting, had said that firstly in the minutes she doesn't see an apology for Honourable Mashodi. I don't know if either Hlubeka or Madia can address that. I'm not sure which minute she's talking to. And then the minutes of the 28th, she said she doesn't see her name, but she was present. I'm not sure she was talking about 28 May or 28 April. I'm just pointing out. I see that in the chat. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, I can also see. Let's correct that. Okay. I know that Honourable Mashodi, where she stays, I think she has a connectivity problem where she stays. I've only seen her attending one meeting. Hlubeka, any take on that?
Chairperson?
Yes, Hlubeka. This is the
with regard to Honourable Mashodi.
Yes.
We only received one written apology.
Sorry, Chair, may I come in here? Right at the beginning of the virtual meetings, the webinars, one of the chairs indicated that due to connection problems, Honourable Mashodi would not attend any of these meetings, and it was unanimously agreed upon. So what Honourable Matavula is saying is that her apology is something that should be accepted as the norm going forward.
Yeah. Thank you, Honourable Boshoff. Let's then move to the next item on the agenda.
Chair, Chief, if I can just come in, Ms.
Yeah.
Matavula is reflected on the minutes of the 28th of May. I think she's having an issue with the minutes of the SC on trade of the 28th of April. If I can just say that that matter's been corrected in our minutes before we go to adopt it, so just so that she can be assured that that matter has already been dealt with.
Thank you, Maria, for that. Let's then move to the next meeting. The next, which is the budget reports of the 9th of June is the. Can we just, if we agree, honorable members, can we go straight to the observation? Yes. Tupela, can you just take us through this?
Thank you, Chairperson and honorable members. Observations and key findings. I will start with it reads as follows. The Select Committee identified the following matters in relation to the budget vote 11, to which the department must respond accordingly. The Department of Public Service and Administration. 9.1. The committee noted and considered the strategic plan 2019-2024 and annual performance plans 2020-2021 of the Department of Public Service and Administration. The APP reaffirms the department's mandate to implement and coordinate interventions aimed at achieving professional, accountable, and developmental-oriented public service, capable to deliver on the objective of the National Development Plan 2030. Can I proceed, Chair?
Yeah, I want us to, if honorable members agree, let's move to the recommendations. Do you have your support, honorable members, that we go to the recommendations? Honorable members? You agree that
yes,
we go to the recommendations?
Yes, honorable Chair.
Thank you. Go to the recommendations.
Thank you, Chairperson. Recommendations. 10.1. Fast-tracking the amendments to all due legislation earlier than 2023 to ensure that all administrative, management, and governance systems are streamlined. This will give Parliament ample time to finalize the legislation within its term. Amending the Public Service Act of 1994 should include the establishment of the roles and responsibility of the head of administration as one of the interventions encapsulated in the National Development Plan to manage career incidents of heads of department and other seniority positions. Finalizing regulations of the Public Administration Management Act of 2014 in order to give effect to comprehensive implementation of the Act. The department should conduct consultation regarding the second phase of the public management regulations. The department should therefore report on these activities at the latest by August 2021. Taking a lead as mandated by the Public Service Act 1994 to promote the use of information technology and information management towards improving service delivery in the public service. Moving speedily to develop guidelines conducting lifestyle audits in the public service. The department should present the progress report on this guideline to Parliament in November 2020. Speeding up the process towards the establishment of the Technical Assistant Unit so that all technical operations are in place regarding the Public Administration Management Act and implementation of the Public Service Regulation, especially regarding the ethical conduct and preventing officials from doing business with the state. adhering to the 2020-2021 budget, which outlines the need to reduce public
Lupeka.
Yes, Chipega.
service.
Sorry, Chair. Sorry, sir. Sorry.
Apologies, Chairperson. Apologies, Chairperson.
Yeah.
The reason why at least I was muted is because I'm using the cell phone to connect to the Wi-Fi. Then when the phone rings, then it disturbs, the whole connectivity. So I think Parliament must work on this to give us proper connectivity gadgets.
Yes.
Let me continue, Chairperson. 10.7, adhering to the 2020-2021 budget, which outlines the need to reduce the public service wage bill by 160 billion over the MTF period, including the reduction of 37 billion in the current financial year. The the National Treasury should play a leading role during negotiations by synthesizing organized labor. The National Treasury should present the report on the strategy progress made reducing the wage bill in Parliament by February 2021. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Chipega. And members, that's the report on the Public Service Administration. Any reflection by honorable members?
Chair.
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Sorry, my camera's off. Chair, the DA reserves its position in terms of this report.
Thank you, Honorable Tim.
Thank you.
Can we get further? Input?
Chairperson, can I chip? Chairperson?
Yes, Chipega.
Well, I need to put to the committee that in terms of adopting the reports,
Tim?
Well,
That's the
Chair,
advice from the committee.
maybe Klupeka can be frozen. Am I back, Chair?
Can we get reflections? What are the reasons, Honorable Tim?
Chair, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Maybe Klupeka can explain the process to me. The point is, am I entitled to vote on behalf of KZN in this committee, or can only my colleagues from KZN, Honourable Bibi, is she the only person who may represent KZN when we get to the House next week?
Look, can we? I think usually in terms of the practice and rules, usually the leader of the delegation, which in this instance, depending as whether is the matter 76 or 75, then we are then able to vote as members of the House. But when it is a section 76, usually it is by province, which is usually done by the head of the delegation. But I think it's a matter. Why don't we reserve that matter for next week?
Okay, I will.
Honourable members, can we have a reflection on this? Honourable Kha, you are muted.
Yes, I'll say I will also need an advice, maybe from the committee secretary. I was not part of the meetings where the strat plan and APP was presented, and therefore I'm not sure whether I'm in a position then to adopt a report that I was not part of. I feel that I have that confusion whether I can adopt a report that I was not part of when it was tabled. So that's why I'm unable to say anything at this stage, Chair.
All right.
Chair, if I can maybe just assist, I think the question to Mr. Protesef is when he says that the DA reserves its position on this report, what exactly do they mean? Because I think in terms of the rules, the committee may not present a minority report. So I think we then just need clarity from Mr. Protesef what he means as far as the DA's position is concerned. Do they not support the adoption of this report, or what exactly does he mean?
May I respond, Chair?
Yes.
Chair, the position very clearly is that the DA does not support the adoption of the report. So we reserve our position in that regard. And we will be obviously speaking in the House on all these reports next week.
All right. Okay. I think it's fine. It's fine. Can we then get clarity on the point that was raised by Honorable Khai? Because I believe that this is a separate meeting from the minutes.
Thank you, Chairperson. Well, this is the process whereby the committee is supposed to take a decision on the particular matter. So the committee is guided by the rules. By the rules. So if I may quote, NCOP rules 150, 155. 1 and 2. Rule 155.
Yes.
1 and 2. Can I read the rules, Chairperson?
Yes.
151, rule number 1 reads as follows. Except when the question is decided, business may proceed irrespective of the number of members present. When the question that does not fall under section 75 of the Constitution is to be decided, A, the committee members representing at least 5 provinces